But yeah, as I said at the beginning yesterday, I pride myself as a storyteller. That is my kind of unofficial job, if you like, self-appointed job in what I do on LinkedIn, the platform of communication that I've been on for 20 years. I pride myself on sharing the news, giving people a sense of what's happening, giving people hope. Hope is a very important thing, and I'm very, focused on giving that to people, hope and inspiration. However, having said that, I do feel somewhat both humbled and mildly embarrassed that this is the first time that I'm in the region. I'm talking to people that I know or know of, fellow Europeans, Germans in particular, it seems, who either live here, live in the UAE, or have been visiting for many, many years. And therefore, I'm somewhat behind the curve. I haven't been doing a good job as a storyteller because I'm not up to speed. I'm trying to get that way. This event is helping massively. Not up to speed necessarily with where things are, this managed transition. And, one of the things that I think is very significant today is that it's World Earth Day. This day has been World Earth Day for 55 years, believe it or not. And what does that mean? It means there's a supreme focus, and has been for well over half a century, on transitioning the world from something that we've had for many, many years, and something that has created the wealth of this region, the wealth of many nations, coal, oil, gas, hydrocarbons, and moving into a world of sustainable renewables. But that does not happen overnight. It must be, it will be, and has to be a managed transition. Why? Because if you manage change, if you do it in a coordinated, planned fashion, it is highly likely, much more likely to work than if your action is a kind of knee-jerk reaction. If you're simply reacting to world events or wherever. And world economies, especially in this region, but across the world, are anchored in the world of oil and coal and gas. That's unavoidable. It is how our world works. And as an electric vehicle advocate, a change advocate, if you like, I want to see that develop and change, but I equally, in the time that I spend with people, the stories that I share and tell, can see and understand that we have to have a managed transition in achieving that ultimate goal. So yeah, it's quite ironic for me personally to be here in the region on World Earth Day, the 55th World Earth Day, having recently been in Norway, another oil state where they've tremendously developed electric vehicles. And I was asked a moment ago, what did I think about what I've seen yesterday, what I've learned in preparation for the event. And what I see in this region is vision, mission, and purpose. I see economic and social stability, and I see leadership. If you have all of those, you have a lot of the building blocks, the DNA of successful change. So to repeat myself once more, I apologize that this is the first time I've been in the region in my life. It will now not be the last. It's been already very inspiring. And in that regard, to get into some wonderful detail around where we are now, I would like to welcome to the stage to talk about the UAE's journey towards e-mobility leadership, and welcome His Excellency Sharif Alolama, who's the Undersecretary for Energy and Petroleum Affairs, the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure. So the stage is yours, Your Excellency. Welcome. And thank you. Thank you very much. I know. Thank you. Pleasure's mine too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. When I was first offered the session to talk about UAE's journey when it comes to e-mobility. I thought, how would be the best way to start off in terms of where we are today, how did we get here, and where we are anticipating to go into the future. So, in order to start, I thought it's very important that I give you a little bit of a perspective of how this journey started. In the year 2017, as most of you are aware, the UAE, and specifically the Ministry of Energy, launched the Energy Strategy 2050. This is a comprehensive energy strategy that back then was focusing on diversifying the energy sources we have in the country. And a major part of the strategy had to do with how we optimize our energy consumption and focus on energy efficiency. So as part of the strategy, we had a comprehensive program which is known as the Demand Side Management Program. The Demand Side Management Program is built on basically tackling four major sectors: the industry sector, the built environment, agriculture, and transportation. From the transportation sector, of course, the program itself did not only focus on green mobility. Green mobility is only one out of four programs that we had identified. The transportation sector looked into the concept of public transportation. So part of our mandate as a ministry that also oversees transportation, land transportation in the country, is to encourage the public and find means of making public transportation very tempting and very attractive for the community. The other aspect was looking at fuel efficiencies. So basically, whatever fuel we use for transportation, it being gasoline, diesel, or whatever, we were looking into the specifications of the fuels to actually impact the emissions that are created from utilization of these fuels. The third aspect, of course, on the transportation sector, which is also a heavy contributor, we looked into the freight transportation, basically cargoes. And we have today, I'm proud to say that DP World are doing some excellent initiatives when it comes to how they are managing all the cargoes in the ports that are available under their jurisdiction. But of course, I would rather not talk about it because I think DP World have a big announcement to make in the near future, so I don't want to ruin the show for them. Last but not least, of course, is green mobility. So, in the year 2021, after 4 years of launching the energy strategy, we got the approval from the cabinet to form what we call the National Demand Side Management Committee. It's a national committee that I happen to chair myself as representing the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure. And we have representation from all federal entities, local government entities, semi-government entities, as well as the private sector. The concept of this national committee is to tackle the four sectors that I mentioned earlier with clear programs and plans, with clear targets and KPIs, and achieve our ultimate target. Our ultimate target is to enhance energy efficiency by up to 45% by the year 2050. I'll give you a very quick hint at how much we have been able to achieve. So the National Committee was formed in 2021, we're in 2025, so that's around 4 years ago. So far today, we have been able to reduce more than 12 million tons of CO2 emissions in all of these four major sectors. When you look into the transportation sector, we have been able to reduce 4.7 million tons of emissions in the transportation sector. We are in the beginning of the journey, but so far, the results are looking very promising and the future looks bright. For green mobility, we initiated the work for green mobility through a different concept. As people who are familiar with the UAE, we have what you call the common majlis. Majlises in the UAE, if you go back decades, were areas where our leaders, the elderlies in the communities would gather with the public, and there would be discussions about key challenges that the community face. And the idea from the majlis was key decisions were being taken in these majlises. So we built that kind of a concept in terms of why not create an EV majlis? The idea is we gather all the major EV manufacturers into one majlis, all the infrastructure and technology providers into the same majlis, and have a cordial discussion. We have targets, we have KPIs, we are anticipating that there will be significant EV penetration into the market. So please join us as the private sector and tell us, where are your challenges? How can we help as a regulator? What kind of partnership models, strategic partnership models we can build where it will be built on a win-win situation? The idea, of course, with this kind of a discussion in the Majlis, or the target was basically to accelerate EV penetration in the country. So from the first Majlis, and I remember that very well because it was June of 2022. So it was almost 1 year after we had formed the National Committee. The major complaint from all the EV manufacturers was very simple, is we cannot sell EVs in the country because there is not enough charging infrastructure in the country. And range anxiety is the major cause that nobody wants to invest in EVs today. So out of this, we really were very proactive as a team from the ministry, and we saw heavy collaboration with the private sector. We built from these kind of discussions a lot of momentum, and there were actions that followed. One of the first actions that we did is we issued the EV policy. Basically, the EV policy structured a government framework, basically explaining as government, as federal entities, what each entity is responsible for. So when you look at the Ministry of Industry and Technology, they were in charge of all the specifications and certification requirements. When you look at, for example, the Ministry of Economy, they were responsible for actually looking into what kind of a tariff system that needs to be introduced and the economical impact on the society. And when you talk about the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, our responsibility was to see how we integrate this wide network of chargers and how we can integrate it into our energy systems. The private sector, on the other hand, also wanted to contribute to the solution. And they did contribute with a vast number of electric vehicle chargers that were handed over to us. Based on the collaboration that we had with the private sector, we formed UAEV, a special purpose vehicle. It's a company that is, as I mentioned yesterday, owned 50% by the government, the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, and 50% by Ittihad Water and Electricity, the main authority for providing water and electricity in the Northern Emirates. The mandate for UAEV is very clear. We are mandated to operate, maintain, and expand the network of EV chargers in the country. Today, we do have a number of CPOs, charge point operators in the country, But I am proud to say that UAE is the only CPO with a physical presence in each of the 7 Emirates. What happened after the first Majlis? Of course, now it's time for me to share with you the results. 2021, the percent of EV sales in the country was 0.7% of total car sales. In 2022, we saw some improvement. It was around 3.2%. By 2023, after UAEV was formed and there was a deployment of chargers across the country, that percentage jumped to 13%. 2024, we reached 25.6%. You can see the growth. And at the same time, in 2024, the UAE now, and I'm proud to say, is ranked #1 in the MENA region when it comes to the number of EV sales. We have approximately 147,000 EV and hybrid vehicles currently available in the country. It's a win-win model. We, as the ministry, drove our mandate, delivered our national agenda, had a green mobility plan that we are actually executing as we go through, and the private sector, with their contribution, saw the benefits of higher EV sales. So these are the type of partnerships we in the ministry believe, especially with the private sector, is the ones that work, the ones that actually benefit both parties, both partners. By the end of 2024, UAEV has installed over 104 charging stations out of a total 1,000 chargers that have been installed in the country. Our target for 2025, what I have mandated the team, is to at least double that. Of course, we are also looking into developing concepts of EV hubs. I think a lot of you must have seen these kind of EV hubs when you go to the US or to the UK. The concept is you locate very strategic locations where there is vast amount of traffic, and you have a hub that houses around 10 to 20 DC chargers, along with other amenities like a coffee shop, like a marketing station for different products, maybe a small restaurant, something like the likes of you who have driven between Abu Dhabi and Dubai last exit, where it's a good place for somebody to park the car, charge his car, and actually have some coffee or some meal or something like that. We in the ministry are anticipating to build up to 7 hubs in the country, targeting 1 hub per city. Already work has started on one. We have allocated a very strategic location in the Emirate of Ajman, and work has already started in terms of building that hub. The discussions with the private sector continue. So we talked about the EV Majlis. Yesterday, I chaired our current edition of the EV Majlis. Yesterday, we had approximately 30 attendees representing more than 11 companies, both from the EV manufacturers or from the technology and infrastructure providers. And the discussions follow. Again, the theme was the same, is we recap what we have done jointly as partners, and then we discuss what are the current bottlenecks, what are the current difficulties that you're facing. And yesterday, there were 2 very interesting topics that were raised by the private sector. One was a challenge that the private sector sees in terms of having enough EV charger stations at high-rise buildings, at communities, at developments. The other challenge that was raised as well is the inconvenience when it comes to the public. Because you do have more than one CPO, you end up as public, as EV owners, having more than one application. And then it starts to get confusing. How do I pay for this or how do I pay for that? So both comments have been taken on board. Work has already started with the high-rise towers. We have established certain certification schemes for high-rise towers that indirectly mandates installation of EV chargers, and to formalize one platform that would serve the entire community, make life simpler for yourselves. That work has already started between the different CPOs as well. I see I have another 4 minutes, so let me fast forward now to the future. 2030, we had put a target for ourselves that 30% of the sales of all cars in the UAE will be EV. We've already achieved 25.6. That target is well within reach, and I have no doubt we will exceed it. This just gives you an example. When you do have the right partnership, you have smart policies in place, you have the leadership and vision, and you have common ambition. There is nothing that is impossible to achieve. So this is a very good example of how far we have progressed. Moving on to 2050, of course, the challenge is a little bit more. What we have put for ourselves as a target is 50% of all registered cars in the UAE are going to be EV. That's a little bit more challenging, but being ambitious, as the UAE is always, having our leaders pushing the sustainability agenda, engaging and partnering up with the private sector, I believe with all of this, that is achievable. We are doing also a very important part that has to do with the community. We are doing vast community awareness sessions, and we are not only targeting your typical EV owners. We are going to the younger generation. Specifically, personally, I've attended a school in Shuaifat where the students have been encouraged to join a green power race. It's a race that is organized for a number of schools that they do build their own electric vehicle and go into an official race and get a prize and so on and so forth. Actually, I think it's next Sunday that I'm attending the final. So this kind of support for the students, especially the younger generation, will lead to up to 2050 when they will be, hopefully, our age, to actually adopt electric vehicle for their transportation needs. Finally, of course, I've been talking now, out of the 20 minutes I've had, 18 and a half minutes talking about the federal entity. I need to give credit to the local governments as well. So the local governments, hats off to them, are doing their part. DEWA, for example, in Dubai, has initiated the Green Charger Initiative. This is excellent. Also, if you see in Abu Dhabi Mobility, they are also expanding a comprehensive network of EV chargers in the city of Abu Dhabi. And then there are also initiatives that have been adopted by Abu Dhabi Investment Office, which is the Savvy Cluster, Smart Vehicle Innovation, Smart Autonomous Vehicle Industries Cluster, that so far we are seeing some results, and the anticipation is that it is not too far in the future where we will be seeing mobile taxis that are actually autonomous, that are also airbound. These are things that a lot of the local governments are doing in conjunction with us as the federal ministry. My final message, we say it in Arabic, والقادم أفضل. ترقبوا, i.e., maybe I should say it in English as well. Is be patient. What is coming is even better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you. And I believe you'll kindly take a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, one or two questions. So if anybody has one, a gentleman at the front. Sorry, second row. I'll come to you, sir, afterwards.
Thank you, His Excellency, for a very comprehensive description of the journey here. My name is Rashid Farivar. I'm a parliament member of Sweden from the Committee on Transport and Communications. You described the past, present, and future for UAE. And I believe one of the, the infrastructure has 5 legs, like infrastructure in form of transport for vehicles, shipping, aviation, and railway, and digital telecommunication. I haven't seen any railway infrastructure in UAE because if the purpose is to reduce emissions, railway is probably one of the solutions. Why is that, and what are the plans there? Of course, it is out of the subject for this conference.
No.
Thank you.
It's a valid question. It's a valid question because our demand-side management program covers transport in all its means. Railway is actually part of our plan. We have created Ittihad Railway that will actually operate a train that will cover the entire UAE geographical spread, i.e. starting off from Abu Dhabi all the way to the Northern Emirate of Fujairah. So this is currently in action, in construction, and it will be in operation soon. Inter-Emirate transportation as well. There has been, as you have seen in Dubai, the metro is pretty spread out. There is a plan also for introducing trams. We are looking also into the potential of introducing metro between neighboring emirates. So, for example, you have in the Northern Emirates, Sharjah and Ajman are neighbors, Ajman and Al Quwain are neighbors. We are actually also studying into the potential of having this kind of metro connections between the neighboring emirates. There is also a pilot project I am aware about in the Sharjah Research Park, where they are using also a different mode of transportation. It is not really a tram or a metro, but it is it's like a, the teleferic sort of transportation. It's used for areas where you have a lot of people available that need to be transported over a specific square kilometer. Like, for example, big airports. This can be used in terms of transportation. So there is a comprehensive plan we have when it comes to transport, and it covers a lot of these details. I'm more than willing to share these plans and the projects that we have and the programs with you, as we always do. We always share best practices or what we believe we are doing is right with our counterparts from other countries.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That's a pretty good answer, I have to say. So there you are, sir, at the front.
Hi, my name's Uday Narang. Great to see, Your Excellency, what you are talking about and the vision, specifically to see 25% EV in a country, specifically in the Middle East. I've been working in the front lines of green energy sustainability over the last decade in India, Asia, many places, and it's great. I'm also setting up something here. My question to you, and this is some of my experiences over the last decade, is that at the end of the day, charging infra is what is needed, whether it's EVs or whether it's hydrogen. And I think, what I'd like to maybe get a little bit more, just a quick color, I know, maybe I can get time from you and get understanding later some other time, but, on the charging infra, because charging infra is the most important part where I have seen, because the range anxiety, even though I've seen some vehicles today where, 1,200 kilometers or whatever is required, but charging infra, that range anxiety that customers have, we have seen, specifically me, I've seen across that they build the vehicles, but the charging infrastructure gets behind. So something like that, your views on that, Your Excellency, would be appreciated. Thank you so much.
Definitely, definitely. Charging anxiety, I'll be very honest with you. Before I got into this business of UAV, I happened to be the chairman of the board. Charge anxiety was like a question to me. What's that? And then somebody explained to me, is like, I'm driving my kids and I'm worried. I will not reach to where I need to go and the car stuck in the middle of the road and I cannot move it. As a ministry and as UAV, we really use a different approach. We strategized how we expand. So a lot of it has to do with using the federal entity as a body in terms of cooperating with different entities. So I'll give you an example. If you look at the Federal Authority for Mosques in the UAE, they are spread across the 7 Emirates. We have signed an exclusive MOU with them that gives us access to all the mosques. Now, when you compare mosques with petrol stations, mosques are even more spread. Saying that, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go and install a charger in every mosque. What we're doing through the UAV team is we are looking at satellite maps to identify where the hotspots are, i.e. where the bulk of traffics are, and then identifying which mosques would categorize for ideal locations to install chargers. We're doing a similar exercise when it comes to hubs, i.e. where is a major amount of traffic going. So like, for example, if you talk about Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai, all the traffic goes by there. So having a hub on Sheikh Zayed Road is excellent. Or strategically located petrol stations as well, where you can have a stand for EV charging. So there is a comprehensive exercise that is being done, either from a business development perspective in terms of tying up with these key entities and then deploying these chargers so that they are available in the right locations.
Thank you. And the good news is the next presentation is from my friend Rami. We'll be talking about exactly this subject. Where is the best charging? How do we avoid the chicken and egg situation? So actually, in addition to a detailed answer from His Excellency, you're going to get a commercial response as well during the next presentation. So if I may say, Your Excellency, I like the idea, and I've seen it elsewhere, particularly in China, of Majlis, bringing together a consortium, bringing together people who coordinate and allow you and help you to execute that plan. That's really good. I love your reference to EV hubs. I noticed yesterday you said hello to my friend Toddington Harper with all that they've achieved in GridServe with those hubs in the UK. And I particularly like your focus on community awareness. I think that whether we're in government, whether we're in commercial arena, we mustn't forget the community, the people, and understanding and giving the education and, if you like, the awareness of everything. I think that's very significant. So great to hear you're doing that at grassroots and everywhere else. So one more time, may I, on behalf of our audience, thank you again for this wonderful walkthrough. Thank you. Thank you very much.